Talent often shines bright in the beginning. It dazzles people, wins early praise, and makes success look effortless. But history has proven again and again that talent without consistency eventually fades, while steady, disciplined effort outlasts everything. Let me tell you a story that brings this truth to life. There were once two friends, Arjun and Ravi, who grew up in the same small town. Both loved running and both dreamed of becoming great athletes. From a young age, it was clear that Arjun had a special gift. He was fast, unbelievably fast. In school competitions, he didn't just win, he dominated. Teachers and coaches couldn't stop talking about him. People would say, "This boy is born to be a champion." Ravi, on the other hand, was ordinary. When races were held, he finished in the middle or at the back. No one expected much from him. He wasn't considered athletic or talented, and many told him to try something else. But Ravi had something people couldn't easily see: a quiet determination and a willingness to show up every single day, no matter how small the progress. When they reached their teenage years, this difference became clear. Arjun didn't train much. He relied on his natural ability and preferred to relax while others worked. Why bother with endless hours of practice when you could already win without trying too hard? Ravi, meanwhile, decided he would never give up, even if he wasn't winning yet. Every morning before school, he would lace up his worn-out shoes and run. He wasn't fast, he wasn't graceful, but every day he got a little stronger. His lungs adapted, his legs grew tougher, and slowly, his times began to improve. Years passed. By the time they were in high school, Arjun was still winning races, but he noticed something unusual. Ravi, the boy who once lagged far behind, was no longer so easy to beat. His endurance had grown. His discipline gave him strength when others tired. In practice sessions, Ravi never skipped a day, while Arjun often found excuses. Eventually, the school announced a regional competition. It was the biggest race of their young lives, one that would draw scouts and coaches from the city. Everyone assumed Arjun would win easily. After all, he was the most talented runner the school had ever seen. Ravi entered quietly without much attention. Nobody expected anything from him. The day of the race arrived. The sun blazed overhead as the athletes lined up. The whistle blew and Arjun shot forward like lightning. His natural speed gave him a commanding lead in the first laps, and the crowd cheered his name. Ravi, true to form, started slower, pacing himself steadily, refusing to be rattled by Arjun's explosive start. But then something happened. Halfway through the race, Arjun began to tire. His breathing grew heavy, his legs slowed down. He wasn't used to pushing himself for so long, because he had never trained with consistency. Ravi, meanwhile, kept his steady rhythm. His body was prepared for this moment because he had practiced it countless times in silence, without applause. With each lap, Ravi closed the gap. The crowd gasped as they saw the unthinkable. Ravi was catching up to Arjun. And in the final stretch, Ravi surged ahead, fueled not by natural talent but by years of relentless practice. He crossed the finish line first. Silence fell for a moment before the stadium erupted with cheers. The boy no one believed in had beaten the town's golden athlete. For Arjun, it was a painful realization. His talent had carried him far, but without discipline, it could not take him to the top. For Ravi, it was the sweetest reward for years of quiet consistency. That victory wasn't built in a single day. It was built through thousands of small, unseen efforts, every early morning when he chose to run instead of staying in bed. This story is not just about running. It is about life itself. How many times do we see people with incredible talent, whether in sports, academics, business, or the arts, fail to live up to their potential because they rely only on what comes naturally to them? Talent might give you a head start, but if you don't nurture it with discipline, it withers away. On the other hand, consistency may feel slow, even invisible at first, but it compounds. It builds strength, habits, and resilience that talent alone can never provide. Think about the bamboo tree. When you plant it, for years you see nothing. You water it daily, nurture the soil, and still, there is no visible growth. But beneath the ground, the roots are spreading, growing deeper and stronger. And then suddenly, in just a short span of time, the bamboo shoots up rapidly, towering high. Was it magic? No. It was consistency. The invisible effort built a foundation that allowed visible success to explode later. Ravi's journey was like that bamboo tree. His daily runs seemed to make little difference at first, but over time, they transformed him into a champion. Arjun's journey, meanwhile, shows us the danger of relying only on natural gifts without putting in the effort to sustain them. Success in any area, whether it's career, relationships, health, or personal growth, belongs to those who stay consistent. A talented writer who never writes will be forgotten, but an average writer who writes every day will improve and eventually create something great. A naturally gifted student who never studies may pass some tests, but will struggle later. A student of average ability who consistently puts in hours of study will surpass the gifted one over time. Consistency is powerful because it builds momentum. Small actions repeated every day become habits. Habits shape identity, and identity creates destiny. This is why people who practice consistency often seem unstoppable. They might not always be the fastest, the smartest, or the most talented, but they are steady. And steady always beats sporadic brilliance. The moral of this story is clear. Never underestimate the power of showing up every single day, even when results are not visible. Talent is a blessing, but consistency is a choice. And that choice is available to everyone, no matter where you start. If you feel ordinary, remember Ravi. If you feel like you are behind others who seem more naturally gifted, remember that slow, steady effort has the power to overtake natural talent. And if you are talented, let Arjun's story remind you that without consistency, talent is wasted potential. Greatness is not about how fast you start, but about how long you can endure. The world does not remember those who were merely gifted. It remembers those who kept going, who refused to quit, who turned discipline into victory. So ask yourself today, are you relying only on talent, or are you building the daily habits that will sustain success? Because in the race of life, the winner is not the most talented, it is the most consistent.